Hello, everyone. This is Roshan, and thank you all for joining today. Today, I have Shubham with me, and several of you know him very well. And when we talk about technology, it is him and his creative team that puts all of these good work together. And today, I'm excited to have him on call with me as today we're going to talk about all the development that has happened in the month of August, and we will go through each feature and share with you all what those features are capable of doing. Thank you and welcome, Shubham, for joining us. Without further ado, let's get started. Are you ready to share your screen? So the first feature we're going to be talking about is the pipeline leaderboard. So the purpose of a pipeline leaderboard is basically, to show you in your office how everybody is performing in terms of sales. This is a wonderful tool which you can literally have it on a big screen television. And so it would be kind of nice to see who all are performing, who are leading this. And this is just the first phase of the leaderboard that we have deployed, which means it has just few gadgets to start. But as we continue to gather more input and feedback, we will add more. So this second screen is all about hitting it to your goal. And as we can see, Jake Williams is kind of getting closer to his 17,000 goal, whereas John and Mark is following, and Mark has not even started. So this talks about, how people are moving too close to their goal. And this screen is about giving a snapshot compared to your top producers, top 3 producers, your monthly production, your monthly tracker versus your one deal versus last month's one deal, as well as overview on how they all stack up. So this is just in a snapshot of pipeline leaderboard. Any other question, feel free to connect with us on that. And you can make it a full screen, so it will show up pretty well. And if you click on the play button, which means it is just rotating on those 2 screens on the big screen. All right, Shubham, let's go on to the next one as we have a long laundry list today. Pipeline Manager, notification subscription handling. So what is happening in a pipeline manager is, we know when we add a lot of assignees, it becomes chaotic sometimes that all the assignees are receiving all notifications. But now you can select which notification needs to be received by whom in which pipeline. Like, for example, in the deal board, we may have several folks, but we don't want all of them to receive notifications. So in this case, we have selected Jake and Gina. Whereas in the renewal, we want Jeff as well to be included in that. So I'll use a quick annotation to show you all. So we are talking about renewal pipeline, and these 3 guys, Shubham, if you want to remove a name and add one more just to show how the interface works. So yeah, you can just select it among your users and you will be able to add them. So that's as simple as that, where you are able to include folks. So let's take a step back, show them how we got here. We go to pipeline.
Yep.
We go to the pipeline. So start on the left navigation. You go to the pipeline manager, then you go to the settings, which is on right here. Yep. And then you click on the notification. Let me clear this up. You click on the notification settings, and that's where all your pipelines are mentioned, and you can select who needs to be included in notifying which pipeline. That's all on this one. Anything else to add, Shubham?
Yeah, I just want to add one more point. So this is helpful for the pipeline in which few particular agents are assigned, like for the service pipeline in which few CSRs are working. So what will happen, like when any email is coming to the forwarding email, it is creating a card on the service pipeline. So it should not notify all the agents. Suppose there are 30 agents in an agency, all the agents will be notified. So when you will configure this notification, then it will just send notification to these 2 agents only. And they will get to know
Perfect.
that, yeah,
Thank you.
I got this service card. This is
Awesome.
helpful in that way.
So this will be well received in the service pipeline who all are working in the service pipeline.
Correct. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, moving on to the next one, which is single contact drip trigger, add categories and labels. As you know, when we are talking about a single contact drip, which means you can schedule those drips based on some automations. But with these two new automations, so hold on, Shubham, how you are getting there. I don't want you to rush and then they forget where it was. So the point of using this label and categories is now you can trigger automation, which means when you're adding a category or when you are adding a label, it will fire off those single contract drips. If you want to learn more about what is a single contract drip, look into our knowledge base, or we will have another video on that as well to talk more into the details. So now let's go back and show how you get to the automation settings. So you go to the settings, click on settings again in the pipeline manager, and then it's called SCD triggers. And in the SCD triggers, you have select triggers, and there are a couple more options added, which is add category and add label, which is the bottom two options. And so as I mentioned, when you click on add label or add one of those, and then you have your list of labels in your sales funnel. So you say the label is call. The moment a label call is added, this will start sequence, use the single contract drip sequence at that moment, the moment you add that label. Same situation with a category. When you add that category, let's say your line of business was auto. You add auto commercial, and it will fire off a sequence of emails which you have created for auto, and it will just send those out to those guys for whom you have added this category. Anything more, Shubham, you want to add to that?
I wanted to add one more thing, that this is available on the agent view. In the next release,
Great.
we will be providing this option to the manager, where the manager can configure this and
assign it to all agents. Yep. So at this point, if you need to set this up, you will have to do it at individual agent's profile rather than, and so probably, you know, this would be a good time to test it with a couple of agents while we release in our next version for the agency. All right. Checklist triggers, same thing. When you are changing a stage or adding a deal, you can say what kind of a deal, which board you are selecting, and which checklist will be triggered at that point. So as you can see, we are in a deal board, and we are adding the trigger called add deal, and then the checklist is service. And the moment you add a deal, the service checklist will be automatically added. So just to recap, there is two kinds of automations we have talked about, which is a single contact drip labels and categories, and then a checklist automation where you add a checklist the moment you add a deal. All right?
So let's move to the next part, pipeline manager intake form upload files. So this is the new enhancement that we have done in intake form. So this was a request from few of our clients. So what was happening, they were sending the form, and their clients were not able to add any file. So now we have added that capability over here. So if they have any file in which they can provide some prior insurance information or any kind of maybe driver detail or vehicle details, they can just add a file over here and it will come to the agent.
Awesome. So let me just make some clarification here. So the intake form, we had, as several of you who are using this know, that we have a predefined intake forms. But as we are also transitioning to a new format, a template form builder, so this is different from the intake forms. This intake form was what we already have, and we have added the functionality to add files in that. Whereas if you are using the form builder, which has that form upload option as well, which Shubham is showing it in the custom option. Shubham, you're running too fast, you know, you will lose people every second. So that it is still in that same place where it is import intake forms, but you can also see the a custom form exists, which is based on the form builder. The challenge, or I think the shortcoming we can say at this point with the custom form is they are not fully baked into our database, so it will capture the data but keep it in the form, while we are working in the next release where it will be fed back to the InsuredMine platform. So that's why several of you have chosen to continue using the current forms, which is in the personal, commercial, or other intake forms. And we have enhanced capability in that as well now in terms of adding files. All right. Next one is Pipeline Manager and Contacts, add lead source. So based on several of your requests, this lead source you wanted to standardize, so it is more of a drop down rather than a free flow writing of, okay, who is my source, which is Jack Smith or Jim. So now you can add it, but it will always be a drop down. So right now Shubham is adding one, and now you can see that guy is in your drop down as well for the next reference. So now your source, Shubham, can you quickly show me where do that entire list lives, or is this the only way to access it?
Here we are having all the entire list over here. Then we are providing a chart over here. You can see how many leads are coming from that particular source. Enhanced capability.
All right, so when you go to your deal board, go to the settings and deal charts, and in the deal chart, one of the bottom chart is about deal board by lead source, and you will be able to see how many leads are coming in that lead source. Awesome. Moving on to the next one, contact, which is select mandatory fields for add contacts. And again, speaking with several of you, everybody does business differently. Some of you have requested, hey, I want to capture minimum information and then I want to follow up. Whereas others have said, no, I want to capture minimum of phone numbers, email, their residential address or office address, along with other things. So just to make sure both gets accommodated, there is a set of fields when you are adding a contact or adding a deal, which you can flip as mandatory. So let's start with the deal. First of all, also to remind where it is, you go to settings, you go to customized field, which you can see as the bottom third option is customized field. Then you get two options, which is mandatory fields in add deals and then mandatory fields in contacts. So for example, several of you would prefer to know or add deal source all the time. You want to make it mandatory for your team. By the way, do not forget this time we are not doing it at an agent level. We are doing it at an admin level. Some of the things we just have to remember or refer it all the time. So since we are doing it at an admin level and we are selecting deal source, if you want to change that deal source to mandatory, Shubham, for add deals, which means every time anyone in your team will add a deal source, they will have to make sure that data field is populated. And if you turn it off, then they don't need to, they can add it, but they can choose not to add it. Same thing with the contacts. You say, how important it is for you to capture date of birth. If it is, make sure that is a mandatory field. Let me remove this image here. So now you can see date of birth gets mandatory, and every time they have to make sure they add that mandatory field. All right, so that's about how are you able to customize or add which fields are mandatory. Contacts, filter by CSR. So customer service representatives, how can we filter our contacts by CSR, which means when we go to our contact list, we have a lot of filters like tag, ratings. So let's go to contacts. Let's go to filters. So hold on, Shubham, here for a second. So as you can see, there are multiple options that we are able to filter by tags, by ratings, by gender, by city, by state, by do not contact, by X dates and dispositions. All these are different filters or a combination of filters that you can apply when you're looking for a specific segment of contacts. So in this case, we are talking about how are we able to filter by CSRs. So as Shubham said, you will have that option here, and now you can look at that and select which CSR you want to filter by, and you would be able to do that. As you can see a note here. Yeah, go ahead, please.
This option is not available over here because this is our demo account and this is not connected to any of the AMS. So as
Correct.
you all are using AMS, like NowSort, EasyLinks, QQ, AMS 360, we are getting this value from the AMS. That's why this will be available to you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. All right, moving on to the next one. Contacts, thanks.io payment transaction in 360. As we have in the last couple of months talked about our commitment of integrations and how deep we are getting with each of them. Let's now look into how we are showing that information now within the contacts and in 360 view. So let's, so Shubham has already, when I am talking, he's already cruising through. So let's take a step back again, Shubham. Let's start again, go to contacts, select a name, or, if you want to search a specific one, yeah. So he searched Roshan, clicked on it, went to Roshan. As you can see on the left panel, we have all these overviews, policy, document, card history, which I'm sure several of you are very well versed with. So there is another option in that is.
Yep. So that is not coming over here because there is no transaction with this contact name.
Okay.
Let me show you.
Is there any account which has some transactions?
Yep. So here we have this demo data for Roshan Jaswal.
Okay.
And here we have this thanks.io transactions and transfer transactions.
Perfect. So those two will show up if you are using those two in your transactions. All right. Tasklist. Search contact by name, filtered, view saved, and download list. So now Tasklist is getting, as we continue to do more and more with the task list, as we are getting a lot of good feedback about it. Yeah, go ahead, Shubham.
Yeah, so previously we had just a capability of searching a task by task title. So we got this request from few of our clients. They wanted to search it by contact name. So now you can search your task by contact name over here. You can just you have to type the contact name and all the tasks related to this contact name will be coming over here.
Yeah.
Then
awesome.
We have added
and then you're gonna show the filters.
Yep. So filters, we have added few more filters over here, like task type is the another filter, date range, the created date for the task. So you can filter the task between few particular date range. Then you can download all your tasks on clicking over here. So this is the new functionality that we have added. Like you
awesome.
wanted to have all your pending tasks. You wanted to have all your pending tasks in a list, in a CSV file. You can filter your pending tasks and then you can just download over here. You'll get all your tasks in a list, in a CSV file.
Perfect, thank you. All right, number 10, engagement. Single contact drip, define, send triggers, and analytics. So single contact drip was when we are sending those single contact drip, it was based on when we are sending it was not known. It said, send it after a day or send it after 2 days. But it was not giving you specific time triggers. Now you have specific time triggers like send immediately after 2 hours or send, which means it will go now, but after 2 hours. Or you can do it, send it after a particular time.
Let me give you a use case over here. Like you have just made a contact with your prospect. You got a lead either through a Zap or through forwarding email, anywhere you got a lead and you want to, touch base with your contact. You want the first person to be, contacting your contact, the prospect. So what you will do, you will send the first email immediately, and the second as a text that I have sent you an email. Maybe you can send this text after 1 hour of the first stage, and the second text can be like, I have sent you an email. Do you have did you get any chance to look into my email? So in that way, what you are doing, you are just sending a reminder over text. So this is what people are the agents are using. This is the one of their use case. The same day,
And when
both
we,
stages are going out,
yeah, go
but
ahead,
there
please.
is a time difference.
And just to add to that, Shubham, as why single contact drip is so powerful is, as we talked about the earlier triggers of automation, right? So imagine a situation where you are just getting a lead with a particular category, which is line of business of auto. So when that lead comes in, you have already set up your single contact drip with your sequences over here, like you're doing it, and that triggers will fire off. So now you're blending the single contact drip sequencing with automation with anything coming in. And that is kind of creating a very powerful way of firing off communications without even touching it.
Yep.
All right. And if you have more questions on those, more than happy to take it at any point of time.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have
let's
two options over
ahead,
here.
please.
Like in immediately, you can see you have after few hours, and if you want to send this this stage on a particular time, like after 3 days, you want to send this at maybe 11:30 a.m. You can schedule it. So both options are available over here.
Yep. All right, so that's SCD number 10. Now, engagement, automation, email notification to agents.
So what we are doing in this feature, like you have started some cross-sell automation, but you want to make sure that it is going in a right way. You are not sending to a client who is not supposed to get that email. So that's why you can enable this agent notification. So what it will do, before 2 days, we will be notifying you that after 2 days, this contact will receive a cross-sell for home no auto. If you don't want to send that email after 2 days, you can just unsubscribe from that email. So it is just to make sure that email is not going to the wrong client, wrong contact.
Awesome.
So like we can see over here, this is the format of email. You will be notified that a quick reminder to let you know that the below client will receive workflow, maybe policy renewal. If you don't want this client to get the policy renewal notification from you, you can click on this from email itself, and this contact will not receive any email on that day from your side. So this is the this feature.
Awesome. All right, moving on to the next one. 12, engagement automation list for admin manager.
So do you want to explain this one? Shall I start? Because this was your
yeah, please
suggestion.
go ahead.
So what is was previously, if you have around 10 agents, you have started two automations. One is for birthday, second is for renewal. So what we were doing, we were creating 20 workflow boxes over there. So it was difficult to identify what is going out. It was difficult to to find what email is going out. So now the view is completely changed. There will be just two boxes. If you have started two automation, there will be just two boxes over there. One is for birthday, second is for your renewal. And in that box, if you want to see how many agents are looked into that, for how many agents this automation has been started, you can just click on that, and you can see for these many agents, this is going out. So this is just to improve the, we can say, UX of the feature.
Yeah. So now at least at a leadership level or at an admin level, you will have a clarity of, how many automations at birthdays or those are actually running from which agent.
And you can track from there how many emails have sent to this agent, for a particular agent, you want to see how many birthday emails are have gone out, or maybe how many handwritten notes you have sent out, so you can track from here for a particular agent.
Yeah. Skip weekends. Again, this was based on the requirements from several of you that, we do not want to send email on a Saturday or Sunday, and which is very rightly so. You want to keep the business purely business and want to engage with the clients on a weekly basis, Monday to Friday, which is good enough. So we have now added a option in our automations. So let's say you have built an automation where you said, I want to send it on day 1 and day 5 and day 10, but your day 5, so your day 1 may have been Tuesday or Wednesday, so your day 5th, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So let's say it was Sunday. Now you don't, by clicking on that option called skip weekend, that email would skip that weekend day and pick up the next business day, which is Monday, and it will fire off that email on that next day. So you do not have to worry about uncertain count, which is the right day from the business day's perspective. Just a simple calculation, which I think makes a lot of you guys happy. So moving on to the next one, segmentation, create list. So yeah, go ahead, Shubham, open that up.
So previously, what we had this create list where you were going over here, you are coming on this screen, and you are applying the filters over here. But what if you are on this screen on contact, you have filtered few contacts on some filters, and you just want to create a list from here. You don't want to go over there and then start the process once again. You have a filter on your, you want to send a email campaign to people who belongs to this state. You can just filter out from here, click here, and save as list.
Save as list.
That's it.
So settings and save as list, and you can call it everyone from Arkansas.
And it will be
just
available.
Name it AK, right? It was, yeah.
Yep. And it will be available in engagement. You just have to select that list from here. Ready to go out. And this option is available on account policies. So you can filter your policies by some rule, and you can save that as a list. In Pipeline Manager also, we have that, like you want to send a campaign to all the one clients. You can just filter it out over here, click here, save as list. So your complete recipient list will be created, and you just have to blast the email.
And contrary, you can do it to the lost clients. Once in a while, you want to just drip them something. So just to recap on that, whether it's from your active accounts, whether it's from your policies, whether it's from your contacts, or whether it's from your pipeline, all 4 of them now have an option of where you can create that list instead of just going to engagement and the list creation. So just more options to be able to start your campaigns. All right, next one is notification for shared email template. I thought
so
this was released in the past, I thought, no?
Yep, so this was released in the past, but there was no name on that template, like what exactly it's shared with the agent. So now we are notifying that this is the template. The name of that template is this. You can go into your template folder and you can find that template. So that template name was missing.
Sure. And you guys can see, I'm sure everybody appreciates, we are kind of every day, it's just chipping it one thing at a time and continuing to enhance and make it look prettier and beautiful in terms of what you can accomplish. So, keep sharing all your feedback and input. We are here to help and make this product cater to your needs. That's the whole idea of building this. All right, moving on to the next one, number 17, or number 16, I think, email notification for the task due and the card due. So this is an email notification received by the agent for who the card or the task is due for the time. So if you want to show, how would that look like?
Yep. So that capability is available to the admin. You have to switch your account to admin, go to the settings, and then under notification setting, you'll find these two options over here. Task due notification and card due notification. If you'll turn it on, what it will do every day, InsuredMine will be sending you an email that below tasks below tasks are due for the day, so that you can start taking action from there only. And the same way we have that for deal cards.
So this option here is just to give you flexibility. Some of you say, no, I don't need that notification. I am on top of my work. You don't need it. You can come back and turn it off. But if you say, no, it's great to have it when I start my day, I should get a notification, that helps me get oriented. Great. Turn it on, and all of you guys have that option. All right. And this is what the email will look like. Number 17, unsubscribe options and preference. So earlier, as several of you have mentioned, that there is only one unsubscribe option. And so when they unsubscribe, it makes it difficult for them to, for the agency to even send them policy-related information or anything which is very important, which is transactional. So, when someone has unsubscribed, they unsubscribed it based on the thinking of, I don't want any more marketing information. So what we did was we segregated that. We said, you can unsubscribe to marketing email or to all email. So if you're unsubscribing only marketing, so you're still going to get all the transaction or the important emails from the agency. But if you say, I want to unsubscribe everything, well, then God helps you, and then you will not be getting any email, because our system is pretty darn good about that. Is if it has unsubscribed, it's not gonna send any email to that contact. All right, number 18, work email sync contact and forward email. So this is a very interesting feature, as it looks very intuitive, but I really like it, because so what happens when you have to today look up of an email address, or if you have to, in your work email, you need to send an email to a contact you have who is not in your InsuredMine contact or in your AMS, but is in your contact list in your system of your communication, which is your email, in your Outlook or your Gmail or whatever it is. All that contact, so there is Google Contacts, right? Outlook has its own contact as well. So those contacts has that name, let's say an underwriter or a referral that you work with. So it becomes painful that you have to go and pull that email, copy that email from that place, and come to here in your work email and type that email. But no, now going forward, there is this option called contact in your work email that will allow you to sync all your current Outlook or your G Suite contacts here. So whenever you start typing, those names will pop up. Again, the idea is to make it easier and simpler for you. There is a second element in that as well, Shubham. I think forward email. Obviously, it sounds very easy and obvious that, forward email should have been an option. Unfortunately, it was not. But now you can not only send emails, send all email, but also forward email right from here. All right, moving on to the next one, 19, work email contacts, add deal. Yeah, so as several of you know who uses our work email, that there is an option to add deal from that email. But going forward, not only from the email that you can add a deal, which, look at here, so you can add a deal right from there to that email address. But now going forward, you can also do that from your contacts. So go to contacts and select any of those guys, and you should be able to add a deal right from there. Create deal card. Awesome. So that's a new one where you are able to add a new contact, a new deal right from your contact list or from your email address. Anything more to add to that, Shubham?
No, this is good for this one. This is just the
Awesome.
starting. Uh, we will be enhancing this feature in the future.
Yeah. Well, I would say that statement goes on for almost everything. Everything is in a starting phase. Moving on to the next one, number 20, skip weekend reply to include time in email campaign. We have talked several of those in the engagement from a STD perspective, but that is also in our regular campaigns where you have this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can see over here we have reply to. The use case is you want to send an email from maybe your personal and you want to get reply from to a different address, maybe your company email, or you want to send it from your company email but you want to
Correct.
get the reply on your personal email. So you can do that now. So what you have to do, select your personal email, click here and type your company email. What it is doing, you are sending from one but you are receiving the reply on another email, maybe your CSR's email you can include over here. Then when you are maybe this stage is your first stage, second stage you want to send after 10 days at this particular time 12:20, and you don't want to send this on a weekend, you can click on this and it will skip the weekend and it will take the next weekdays.
Awesome.
And we
All
have
right.
added this particular time as well. You want to send this campaign on a particular time, you can do that.
Yeah, that was a concern. A lot of people said, I know we are sending this email 3 days later, but then I don't know at what time it is sending. Is it sending at midnight or 1 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning or, at 4:30 p.m.? I don't know. Well, now you can select when you want to send it out. So ask the right questions and you shall get a solution out of that. All right, moving on to the next one is 21, engagement tag implementation in subject line, and new tags added. So both of them now in your subject line, it's always good. We all talk about personalizing email, right? So isn't it nice to say, Roshan, welcome to my agency, right? So instead of saying, hey, Mr. X, or, not saying anything and saying, hey, welcome to my agency is good. But when you add personalization, it just enhances that capability and power. So that's now in the subject line. You should be able to add the tags, which is available on your right side. And then we have added a few more tags over here, like signatures, a scheduler, referral name. So scheduler is a good one to look at. So what it does is, if you have created a scheduler, which means when they can schedule time with you, and that's a wonderful one, because now you do not have to do that all the time, which what link you need to put in. Because if you are sending an email from your agency to all the guys, you don't want that email to be responded with, a company-wide demo request. If it is associated with a particular agent, so that sale appointment or review appointment will go to that particular agent for a scheduler rather than to a company-wide scheduler. Anything more to add to that, Shubham, from the scheduler or subject?
Yeah, so I want to add one point over here. So in SCD also we have added this this one. You can add the tags on the subject line, and you can add this scheduler over here. So what it will do, like you are creating a contact drip for yourself and you want to share this contact drip with your other agents. So you don't have to enter your scheduler link over here. You just have to click on this tag. It will be added over here, and you can send it to your you can share it with your agents, and their scheduler link will be attached to the email. So that's the
Of course.
use case of this feature. Same way, signature, you have added the signature tag over here. You are sharing this with your agents, then their signature will be attached to this email, not yours.
Perfect. Awesome. Moving on to the next one. Bad email tracker. I love the name. It's a bad email. So what we are trying to do here is basically we are always on a hunt of looking out, what will impact your deliverability to the inbox, and not only to the inbox, but also to the, as an important email. We know everybody struggles with that, going into an update section in Gmail or going into spam folders. That's a everyday problem. But if the reputation of your email is good, it should hit to the important section in the inbox email. One of the things is when you're sending a bulk email campaign, whether it's 5, 10, or thousands of email, it gets a better reputation when it does not have bounce emails. It does not get unsubscribed. It does not have email which will have anything to do which can impact the reputation. So now what we are doing, go ahead, Shubham, if you want to add a little bit more technical aspect to it.
Yep. So I just want to add one more point on the reputation. What is affecting the reputation? On what way it is getting affected? So when you have sent an email, your recipient has marked that email as a spam. That is fine for one time, but you are again trying to send that email to the same recipient who has already marked your email as a spam, and when he will mark that email again to the spam, then your email reputation will be affected. So what we are doing, we are filtering out all the bad emails. All the bad emails means all the bounced email, unsubscribed email, and the complaint email. Bounced means those are the bad emails. Maybe the spelling is wrong or that email is totally closed. They are not using this email anymore. Unsubscribed, they have marked your email as unsubscribed. They don't want to receive your email in the future. And the complaint you have marked, they have marked your email as a spam. And so what we are doing, we are collecting all the emails over here, we are giving you, but in the back end, whenever you will try to send a campaign, we are making sure that these emails are not getting any email from your side. Because if another time they will mark your email as a spam, that will hit your reputation. And the impact will be your email will start going to a spam, your email will start going to the promotion or update folder. So this is very important in the email industry.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you. So, just to add to that, I would say, when you're looking at other solutions anytime, to consider, whether you're using our services or not, look into these aspects, ask about, hey, how are you managing my email reputation? How do you ensure that my email will hit the inbox? Because it's very easy to build a couple of functionality and say, okay, we will do automations. But the real essence and the power is in thinking through these aspects where we make sure your email hits the inbox. And this takes a lot of effort. This sounds simple, but as Shubham may have said in this release itself, what we have done is this approach will skim through probably close to 10 million email addresses.
Yep. We had to run a.
So do you want to talk about what would that be?
So we have our database of 10 million email address. So what we did, we run a script on that 10 million database, and we came up with those emails which are bad. Bad means maybe email is closed. So they bounce also. If you categorize this bounce, there are two types of bounce: permanent bounce and temporary bounce. Permanent bounce means it is totally your email is wrong. There can be a spelling mistake or someone has blocked the email. They are no longer using that email. Temporary bounce is their inbox is full for now, but when they will delete few emails from there, then your email may go up to they may receive your email. So what we are doing, we are trying 5 times. If the bounce is soft or it is not a permanent, it's temporary, we are trying 5 times to send your email. But in case of permanent, we are totally just one time and it is going to the permanent bounce. So we had a database of 10 million emails. So we extracted those emails which are permanently bounced. They are totally bad email. So whenever you will get you will create a list, we will scan your list in that 10 million emails list. We will see, is there any email, your email is available in that list or not. If it's already available in that list, we will be answered. We will not be sending any email to that email, the bad email. What
Because
it
it's
will do,
gonna
it will
eventually hurt your reputation of your email
reputation. Yeah.
campaign as well as your email ID. So
Yeah.
we are taking care of making sure those things are helping you. Awesome. Let's move on to the next one. 23 automation task assigned to agent.
So in this, previously we had email and SMS in automation. Now you can add a task also. So like the use case can be, you have started a renewal automation. The first email you are sending to your client, second SMS you are sending to the client, and the third will be your task. The third stage is the task that you want your CSR to take some action. So what we will do, we'll create a task for your CSR, and the CSR will be notified through email that this task has been created for you. CSR will get the notification, CSR will log into the portal and complete the task. That's it. The renewal is
Yep.
done.
Over here, there are a couple options, even though in terms of it is assigned, either you can assign it to a specific agent, or when you select myself, then you are assigning it to yourself. All right. Mobile app, download notification to agent. That's been a question a lot of time you guys ask, hey, I don't know how many folks have downloaded my mobile app, because obviously several of you are using mobile app pretty well, and you would like to keep a track how many downloads has happened from your agency, and would rather be notified. So now this email goes out, hey, Aditya, client below has downloaded your agency app. So now you would know exactly who are those guys who have downloaded your app. Not only that, but you will be notified when the moment they download. So that's a good way, because now it helps you to know that they are one step further in terms of engaging with you. All right. Moving on to the next one, number 25, form builder action, which includes share, edit, copy, delete. So these are a lot of new things. As you know, form builder is something very fresh out of oven, and we are continuing to invest a lot of time. And hold on, Shubham, let's not rush where we are. And as we're continuing to invest a lot, this is the second iteration, 2.0, 3.0. So every month we are going to continuously invest a lot of time in this. We have a dedicated team who is just working on this. So where do we find form builders today? We go to our icon on the top left, top right, and then click settings. And then on that settings page, we have the last option called custom forms. And over there, that's where the form builder is. And it's as you can see, it's a drag and drop option where you can add multiple fields to build it. We'll not go into the details of how we build it. Let's look into the top right option called form list. Form list is giving you all the forms that you already have in your list right now, and then the actions just got created, which is copy forms, share forms. So when you click copy forms, what does it do? It will create another form with the name at the last as copy. So now you don't need to recreate that form from scratch. Just update it in some form or shape. Second one is share. Share it with your your team members. So these are all your teams. So you can select all or select specifics. It is being shared. Third one is delete. It will delete the form. And fourth one is edit the form, like you already have the form and you want to add few more fields or stuff. So those new functionality. So which is funny, because last month when we released this, these actions, at least the edit option was not there. So you had to make sure you do it right. Otherwise, you will have to do it again. Fortunately, now going forward, you would not have to do that. If you make a mistake, go ahead and edit it. Hopefully, we can add more stuff into this going forward. Another good thing we have added is templates. So now we have a bunch of those which is added, and trust me, this is just scratching the surface. We have already built several others which we will be uploading real soon. So you would see several other templates over here like home, umbrella, general liability. And if you have any specific request that you want us to build a template, you know where to get hold of us. We will be happy to build it for you. All right, moving on to the next one. 26, which is use template, view response, and email notification. So do you want to go back to number 26, Shubham, view response and email notification on templates?
Yep. Let me.
So, yep. So if you go back to, yeah. So now you can see that coverage decline form was sent to 6 guys, and these were their response in the view form. If you click on it, you will see all the all the fields that they have completed gets captured over there. So right now you have individual form. In our next iteration, we will also give you an Excel sheet which will have all the columns of all these things, and so you can have a consolidated report as well beyond that individual reports. So again, there is a lot of work continuing to happen in this, but based on all the feedbacks we gather. Moving on to the next one here on 27th, suspense handling in AMS 360. Go ahead, Shubham, if you wanna.
Yep.
We are not connected this one to 360, so but we can talk through this.
Yep. So this is we can say this is a type of event in MS 360. Previously, we were not handling this one. Now this handling is also available. It's related to, so like we have task, they have some suspense. Task is in pending state. That suspense is in a suspense stage. So this is going back and forth from MS 360 to InsuredMine.
All right.
Next one is data availability to all the agents.
All right, go on to number 28.
28.
Yeah. So so right now, as so let's take a step back. When we kind of initially designed this whole thing, one of the aspect was to have it modularized, which means everybody works independently and they want to manage their book of business and their clients, and so that's how it was designed. But also, as we continue to evolve, as we know, there are so many different ways of agencies are running their business. Other ways, one is more modularized, another is more assembly line, which means everybody is doing the same thing at the same time, and they are all sharing the same book of business or the same contact list. So in that way, what we have done here is given access to every agent within that agency, which will allow them to see all the book of business of all the contacts in that. Do we have a screenshot or anything in that, Shubham?
There is no screenshot because this is some backend activity. If you want your agents to get overall data of your book of business, we can activate that from backend, and your agents will get that information.
Okay. Awesome. Moving on to the next one, Google review, client pulse link on website and signature and NPS user list. So go ahead. Switch to agent and go to a Google review. So on your dashboard, you have a widget for Google reviews. Client pulse. And so when you click on it, now what is the beauty of this? So you can see there are two links. One is, hold on, Shubham. So build your online reputation, which is get client pulse, which is when you click on the first button, it will give you an individual form that you want to fill, like your name, and which again, name you can pull it out of the system, which means it will just look for the names. And you can fire off Google review right from here. But sometimes you may not have the name, or you want to just pick up the link and add it to your signature, or send it to someone for asking someone else to use it. But two things are important when you have a link. It should be customized where you get the credit if someone is choosing to respond positively to that Google review. So this link now, when you click on that copy public URL and you open it up, this is a custom link for your user ID, which means if they are filling up this form, it goes to your account as a credit. Yeah. So it is redirecting you. Hold on to that second, Sumam. Yeah, look at that. So now you get to that thank you, and it gets redirected to Google. Go to that last tab. Yeah. And you can now fill in that information. So, yep. Awesome. And the other part of that was, go back to that Google review. Yeah, was when you go to the NPS, which is the bottom one, you can see now that is clickable, which means it can tell you exactly who those guys are and who are providing you that rating. So it's a wonderful way to know the response and how your customer service has been being perceived by your clients. All right, moving on to the next one. Payment. So pending payment reminders. Now we have set up some automation where you can define after how many days you want to send reminders, and set reminders and then trigger those, and it will now set up those reminders and send it out to them after 7 days of sending the payment, after sending them a email and then reminding them to make the payment. So those of you who are using this payment option, this is something you can use. And just to add to that, we are coming up in our next release with making it a recurring reminders and several other aspects in this. So next one is client pulse pending review automation. So what it does is, so all those reviews that we have sent out as a request on to these customers or contacts, and we can set up a reminder to them as well. Hey, we have sent you a Google review request. Would you mind responding? So it will send up this trigger reminder to them. All right, last but not the least is the new look on the Access Manager. So this is for the admin, right? So earlier it was, trust me, nobody more than I hated it. And, so it took me some real effort to ask these guys to work on this Access Manager. So now what you can see is there is 3 columns: Manager, Agent, and CSRs. What does that mean? All the managers, so each contact is a name as a card, and you can drag and drop that card, or you can move that card from one to another, depending on where they belong. The reason you want to have it on the left versus right, so on the right, the further you take, which means that limited options they have. So an agent will only be a blue one here, but as you can see, having 3 icons means he's a manager, he's an agent, and he's a CSR. So that icon should tell you what those guys are. And then once you continue to drag them, those icons continue changing, and then that's how you can manage them. Accessing, so other option of that is manage access, which is who all can I manage access, as in a drop down. Who else do I need to have in my drop down? We are starting to see that becoming less and less popular, which is okay. People like to just manage their book of business or as a manager kind of do it. But this screen is very important. Manage modules. What module, as a module manager, what I want to manage. Some of these guys say, okay, I may not be doing a lot of opportunity management. There is a whole CSR team who is doing that. Great, you can turn it off. Several of you may not be doing calendars. Hey, I don't do any meetings. Turn it off. Several of you. So, again, every agency is different. So based on that, you choose what option you want to use. Similarly with the widget, just a week ago, we had a quick question on our Facebook forum of how many widgets do we have, and so it's important to know all these things. And the idea of asking that question was to go find where to find them, and it was right here in the Access Manager. So you can see there are 26 of those widgets over here that allows you on your deal board, on your dashboard. But several of them may not be relevant to you. And so you may choose to, like, for example, to-do. People use Tasklist more often than to-dos. And so they can turn it off right here and they will not even see about that. So you can pick and choose what you need. And this is a better view of managing it now. So that's all we have today from these. You see the list is 32. But the reason it is 32 is we have consolidated and crunched several of them into one. And like, for example, number 25, Form Builder. There was 4 or 5 functionality that we had to cramp them together into one. And so, or whether into that 18, sync contact or a forward email. Those were 2 functionality, but, we just clubbed them together because they both belong to work email. So there are several of those. As you know, this release included closer to 80 items, out of which there were 43 or 40 some numbers of enhancement. There was 18 new functionalities, some fixes, and all kind of fancy stuff. Again, this is just August. Our next release should be October, middle of October. September, we are taking a bit longer this time, so we can come up with some very big and critical items that we are working on, and it will take some time. So we didn't want it to rush it and make it a 30-day cadence rather than when they are ready, which is middle of October. So with that, that's all I have for today. Hope you all enjoy this new features and continue using them. Shubham, anything else before we wrap up?
No, that's all. Thank you.
All right, this was a handful of features that we brought this, and thank you to you and the team for doing all the good work. And we will continue delighting our customers with all the new features and functionality that we bring to their usage. So thank you all for your time.